What's up, everybody? Welcome to the world famous Art City Comics. I am Adam Mayak. Joining me tonight on CG JUMPSTART between the panels, we have the editor supreme, the real Steve Dye.
Hell, Adam. Hell, brother. Thank you again.
Hail, Steve. Our guest of honor this evening, he's been here before. He's back again. It is the designer the supreme. He is not shit. It is 3D Robin.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah. Steve's dragged me back again.
He has dragged you back. Well, the last time you were on here, Steve was supposed to be here as well, but he got so entranced on listening to us converse that he never checked his DMs and was just kind of fucking around in the shadows.
Yeah, I absolutely, I was in the chat and such, but I was thoroughly entertained. Didn't even, I was telling Adam earlier, I think before you came on 3D, that it's a rare deal where I don't like check my DMs once in a while during a live stream. But man, I don't know. It's like I was like,
that was a good stream. It was all right, showing you behind the curtain.
Dude, I mean, that's the entertaining shit, man. You know, get away from the drama and get into the technical aspect of things, and that's where people I think, get the most context out of stuff.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of creators, and I think it's always good to have a look at how other people do things. You know, I never stop learning. I'm always looking about. If I see something cool, you know, I'll nick that. I'll have a bit of that.
Well, and we talked about that just the other day about it's one of the biggest differences between ComicsGate and the mainstream is that CG artists are never afraid to learn new tricks, are never afraid to try to better themselves. Whereas the mainstream, they're just kind of stuck like, this is the way they do things, and that's that.
I think a lot of that's to do with management, though, isn't it? I mean, their staying power in positions and them trying to put their will on new artists, and they can just churn through them, can't they? And
that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. You know, but I don't know.
They're the factor, aren't they? The management is the factor. The editorial staff are the people that are there, essentially calling the shots. I mean, take this whole CG Jumpstart thing. I mean, whatever Steve was calling the shots. I mean, obviously my input was welcomed, but you know, it's not how I would have done it. I'll just say that.
But I mean, come on.
You know, I was just, you know, just as an example. I think I'm a tool to be used. Do you know what I mean? That's how I approach this thing. I wanted to help out. And
I feel like somebody's
what do you want me to do?
Some 3D Robin saying, "I'm a tool."
I'm a tool.
I'm a tool.
You know what I mean? Damn you.
But I mean, what artist out there does not want to evolve and make themselves a better artist? I mean, I feel like
there are a lot out there that get into a groove and just think, "Oh, right, I'm great. I'll just sit here in my really great groove."
Fuck that line of thinking, man. I think that even the best artists can grow and evolve and learn new tricks and figure out things.
The best artists certainly do evolve and learn, but you always plateau. I think when you get into it, not always, but you get to a certain point where you're just very, very good at something, and there isn't really that much room. You can only grow so much in, say, how you develop your ideas, or do you know what I mean? I would think in comics, once you had your rendering down and all you're really working on is the craft of the story then, and other parts that you perhaps weren't focused on.
Yeah, I can see that. But in my mind, and I've said this plenty of times, is why I hail artists who are able to switch up their styles, because that shows true talent. You know, somebody, you know, you can be Jim Lee and you can draw like Jim Lee and it's beautiful. But if that's all you can do is draw like Jim Lee, then you've definitely hit that plateau. Then you can't go any further. But
it's not so much of a bad thing, though, is it?
I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing. But I mean, come on, like you can still evolve your style.
Yeah. I love Jim Lee, but then I mean, it's a whole nother level of impressive to me when you see what a guy like Donald has done. How Brutus is his own style, and then Vestige was definitely Gat and I kind of cramping his style, making him draw in a whole nother way, which he did fantastically. And then now what he's doing with Cecil is a whole nother thing.
That's what I mean,
Donald
man.
knows what he's doing.
Really cool.
It's good.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, yeah, you can hone your own style and be perfect at it, but there's always room to add to it and add more layers and be adaptive in your storytelling and be able to tell different stories with different styles. That's, I think, where true talent lies.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's take a look over here and see who has joined us. We've got Do Shit 2. He says, "Hail ComicsGate, hail War Campaign, hail Do Shit 2." We've also got Triple R joined us. Those are the early comers. Hail brothers. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. We've also got Volt Cobalt. I see they are late as usual. Motherfucker, we were like maybe 10 minutes late.
Practically on time.
I was ready.
That's pretty fucking on time, I'm telling you. We got Sim in the chat as well. Hail Sim.
Hey, Sim.
I did want to mention that we got Sim's Blood Hunt is closing tonight. So if you have not gotten on that Blood Hunt hype train, make sure you do so before it is gone, because it is never getting reprinted in the way that it is being printed now. And I guarantee you do not want to miss out on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've obviously been privy to the process on Blood Hunt. It's a great story. And
yes, the editor supreme, Steve Dye.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out on that. There's some twists and turns coming, and yeah, it's a really, really well put together book. Everybody needs to get behind that.
Yeah, Sim is an amazing storyteller, both in his actual writing and in his artwork. I feel completely blessed that he brought me onto the process and hired me as co-writer. I'm super psyched to be a part of this project, and I can't wait to get it into backers' hands. What's that, Steve?
I feel cursed.
You feel cursed? I'm sure, because you got some of the pages on the first chapter that I didn't touch, and Sim's actual writing style before it gets edited is rough, to say the least.
If you're a regular North American citizen and you find it hard to understand what Sim says in that kind of French Canadian accent, you don't want to read his typing.
He's a big fan of the ampersand. I'll give you that.
If you think he's a bit, oh dude, I've metaphorically slapped his hand with a ruler repeatedly. I'm like, quit fucking. Anyway, onward. Nah, it's a really good story though. It's actually a really good story. The typing is shit, but the story is good.
Well, very well said. Very well said. We got the Mogwai Centurion as well. Hail, brothers. Hail, Mogwai Centurion. How you doing tonight? Good to have you here. Oh, fuck me, man. We're trying to have some fun. Who else is joining us? We got, we got Dan Marshall, motherfucking the milkman. Hail, Dan Marshall.
Hail the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister. What's up, man? We got Concrete Leper in the chat as well. Mr. Yanafui. What's up, Yanafui? Good to have you here tonight. Z Rust, what's up? Hail Z Rust.
Yanafui put out a new video today, I think.
Oh, no shit. I'm going to have to go back and watch that because I have
good stuff. Hail,
I've missed that. We got Delta.
Another masterpiece.
Delta Spurg Force says, turn your volume up and hail. I think Steve sounds fine. Is he coming through? Maybe you need to turn your volume up, Delta.
I hit the gain a little bit just for Delta. Hell, brother.
All right. So to the task at hand before we get way too the fuck off topic. First things first, I wanted to reiterate, if you missed it on War Campaign's show the other night, they did announce the new artist for Vestige. It is motherfucking Doodle Bags.
Hail, Pat Maxton. Hail, brother.
Fuck, I refuse to use his real name. It's either Doodle Bags or D Bags.
Mr. Exercise, isn't it?
Mr. Exercise. Yeah. That's pretty good too.
Yeah. Hashtag, what is it? Hashtag dumpster.
There's
workout.
more exercise going on than there is art.
Wow.
I don't know, man. His artwork is fantastic, and I had a feeling this was coming. And actually, on the last episode of Jumpstart, when Gat was kind of teasing, you know, the announcement of who was going to be the next artist. Somebody, I can't remember offhand, but somebody in the comment section guessed Doodle Bags. And I replied, I said, well, you're just going to have to tune into War Campaign to find out if you're right or not. So whoever that was, you are correct. It is the mighty Doodle Bags. I think his style is perfect to follow the mighty Donal Delay and work on Vestige Book 2.
Well, it's working out that way.
Great.
I can tell you that, Adam. He's about 12 or 13 pages in, and he's doing a great job. You know, obviously, we would have loved to have kept Donald on the project for time immemorial and all that, but he's got his own book that he wants to do that sounds great, and obviously it's up to him to talk about that, not me. But it's not Brutus. He's got another book that he wants to do, and of course he's working with Cecil. So
also, he's very young. You know, the world is his oyster. He hasn't been embittened by the industry yet. Learned all those horrible kind of nasty.
Yeah, you're talking about Doodle.
The nasty
now,
stuff that happens.
Yeah, you're talking about Doodle, not Donald.
Not Donald. Donald was bitter as fuck.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
That's what happens after you've been in the game a few years.
It's true. Only the Donald was smart and got out of the actual industry and came over to ComicsGate, whereas most of these fucks are still in the industry and bitter as fuck.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, I love
and that's a good point. Doodle is young, untested, still full of all that testosterone that takes him out by the dumpster to, you know, do not so deep push-ups, you know, but they're okay. I mean, you could work on your form a little, Pat, but mostly draw, monkey, draw. We need you to draw because he's doing a great job following up with Donald. Like I said, I've got 12 pages pretty much complete. We want to be able to put out Vestige, you know. Gat's got a vast epic to tell here, and we can't spend 8 years doing it. You know, we want to be able to get these issues out and tell people the story. And so Doodle's been perfect for the project. He's doing great work.
I like his brushwork. The black and white contrast stuff's really nice. Yeah,
he's doing
he's
great.
Got a good handle of it.
Well, it's definitely hard to, you know, if you got to pass the baton, you still want everything to be cohesive. So, you know,
it's got a nice graphic.
I think it complements Donald's style, and
it's got a nice graphic feel to it as well. Its control of line weight's really nice, but it still has this nice organic feel with the brush.
Yeah. His line weight is
stuff.
Yeah, his line weight's kind of what got him the gig, to be honest. And then his panel composition, I don't know. There's a lot of back and forth, but sometimes he's got a better idea. We script these things pretty tight. Gat wants to know. Gat wants it to look like Gat wants it to look like. And but yeah, already Doodle's come back with a couple of page breakouts that we were like, okay, that's okay. Yeah, we'll do that. So yeah, kid's doing great work.
Looking over the chat, it says Mogwai says, "Is Steve at an airport?" Concrete Leper says, "Who has the hair dryer on?" That might be. Maybe I might have to readjust my microphone here, but the fan on my computer can get quite loud at times, so that might be the background noise that you guys are hearing. Sorry about that. But anyhow, yeah, you posted up this little teaser the other day, Steve.
Spoilers.
And spoilers, of course. I seen this and I was like, damn. I mean, Doodle, he's a talented young man, to say the least.
Yeah, I wanted to actually screenshot that whole page. That's just one panel from the page. And then I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, no, God damn it, spoilers. So
yeah, don't give away too much. I like Liam did that a lot with Xenotype, where he'd share a quarter of the page or one panel from the page. I think that's a neat way of sharing some cool artwork without giving too much away for the story.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we were talking about that earlier before we went on the air. It's tough because with Vestige, every page you turn, there's a spoiler, and that continues into volume 2 and across the board for the whole story. So it's, you want to get people, you want to give them a taste, but at the same time, it's like, man, yeah, there's a lot of ins and outs to the story. So
yeah,
I got crazy and I shared that one.
And there's definitely that very fine line between sneak peek and spoiler. And when we talked about this before, we went live, finding that line, getting ready for the campaign launch, putting together the campaign page and showing off some artwork, it can be very difficult, to kind of suss out what to share and what not to share.
Yeah, well, I mean, timeline wise, I'll get back to the subject, but customs, Vestige,
motherfuckers.
Yeah, well, I don't even. I'm trying to keep this on the upbeat, but they're sitting about 15 minutes from Gat's house, and we got to get those into the hands of the people. And then Jumpstart, back around to Jumpstart. Jumpstart is ready to go. It's ready to go, but we are working. To your point, we're working on the campaign page for Vestige Volume 2 that will be launching, shortly after we get Jumpstart up and rolling. And yeah, man, it's we've cherry picked a couple of the pages that Doodle's already done, but we've also got him drawn ahead. He's doing a thing that I think's page 28 and 29, a 2-page spread, and it's a bit of a spoiler. I mean, it's too pretty not to share. We want to sell the book, but yeah, it's 6 or 7 solid pages out of the book. It's hard to find 6 or 7 pages that don't include something that kind of gives away the next breaking development and what Gat's up to from that smoke-filled den of his. So yeah,
I mean, he's that kind of storyteller that he thinks about the entire picture, and then each volume is a piece of the picture, and then as it pans out, you piece together, kind of puzzle-like almost. Actually, I guess is probably a better description other than just picture. Puzzle-like. It's a big 12-piece puzzle.
Stop talking about puzzles. Trying to bloody do puzzles for
Let's
Ethan
talk about
today.
Puzzles.
No,
Let's talk about puzzles. We were talking about puzzles earlier today. 3D. It was fun.
I've been racking my brains trying to come up with some stuff for Ethan. Wants a puzzle page for his. I've done one already, and I didn't think he was going to ask for another one, so I've expunged all my puzzles.
A puzzle page.
Jumpstart followers that are in the chat. If anybody in the chat has suggestions for the Cyber for All,
no, I got it sorted. I got it sorted, Steve. Come on, come on now. Yeah, did you see today he was asking for calls for he's doing a letters page for Unforgettables.
Yeah, I wanted to actually bring that up in case anybody hadn't seen that yet. So I'm glad that you did, and now I don't feel quite as guilty. But we'll share the screen here, and you go ahead, take it away, sir.
Yeah, I mean, this is he really, really wants a kind of an old feel of how comics used to be, and more power to him. I appreciate it. Loved the chance to do this puzzle page for him, and if he's just going to stick, letters pages in and bits and pieces, great. Be nice if he did like a Stan's soapbox, EVS soapbox thing on the, inside cover or something.
Yeah, I wanted to give out a Stan's No prize to the guy that guessed a Vestige artist. So, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
Well, because like you, I don't remember who it was.
Fair enough. Yeah, I thought this was really cool when I seen this. So yeah, the tweet here reads, "Hey, we're doing 2 old-fashioned letters columns for Cyberfrog Unforgettable Tales 1 and 2. If you want to write a letter that might see print in one of them, please write to Ethan12032@gmail.com. I'll pick the 8 best fan letters. This, I think, is a really cool idea because the letters column, obviously, for anybody who's read comic books for it, basically from I don't know when they stopped doing letters columns, like the early 2000s. I think they finally kind of did away with it.
Yeah, I think some carried on.
Some did carry on. I do remember Saga by Brian K. Vaughan. He was big on the letter section, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, it's one of those things that got lost over time because of the age of the internet, essentially, and seeing Ethan taking that step to be like, you know what, we need to bring this shit back. I think that's great. And I mean, who better to do it than EVS? Because I mean, he's got probably the biggest fan base out of anybody. There's I can think of hell at least 5 different stories that I could tell that I could write in a letters column to be put in the back of Unforgettable Tales. So I think it's really cool. And now I'm even more excited to get the book just to see what the fucking letters are, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Hey, I hope that a lot of, I think it'd be cool if a lot of ComicsGate oriented would-be essayists would bite into that. I mean, yeah, the letters pages in comics were always great. The letters page in Wizard was great, and you'd see some really clever stuff. And I think I don't know, Jeff Johns maybe. I'm hard pressed to come up with but I know it's happened several times where guys that went on to be name brand comic book writers or artists, first time they ever saw their name in print was in the letters page of a comic book. So,
well, that's really cool. That's actually kind of cool too. Especially within the ComicsGate community, where you've got a lot of up and coming voices kind of thrown throughout the movement that you don't really know who is going to be a voice that's actually going to break through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even back in the day of, I don't know if I want to digress that much.
Have you got any plans for a Jumpstart letters page then?
No, you fucking beat me to it, damn it. 3D.
Sorry, Adam.
Well, I'd like to have that at some point. I feel like you've got to have a little bit of a body of work out there so people can comment on what you've done, and that's kind of how that works. But yeah, I'd love to have that. And I think there's something about that I like it that EVS with 3Ds trying to bring back this puzzles page thing, but there's something to be said. I mean, we all obviously ComicsGate's a bit of a Twitter medium, and we all go back and forth. Some people are clever, some people are exceedingly dull with a character limit. But yeah, a letter is something that you actually compose. And
sometimes I miss that 70 character limit.
Well, that's true too, but that's where being the editor comes in handy. You just strike the whole thing and you're good to go.
But I mean, also, to that effect, Jumpstart is going to be tied to CG only, which is going to have a forum section. So there's definitely going to be more than enough room for people to word vomit, as it were, all over about such and such short story in the book.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see a good connection between the magazine and the site online. Me and Steve had a lot of conversations. I was trying to force him to put QR codes in to all of the articles, so you can scan them with your phone and go to the Indiegogo of whoever's article it was, or the ads, or whatever. I've snuck one in on the back cover, which goes to cgonly.com.
Well, that one. Yeah, here's the thing. That was a great idea that 3D had, and we wanted to do the phone code things. But we've got promo pieces from some of the premier campaigns and some of the best people in ComicsGate serving sort of. They're not advertising placements; they're not paid, but they are promos and insertions, which help me with the overall layout of the book. You've got, to digress again, you've got 2-page spreads from various 12-page or 8-page excerpts from various comics, and where that artist and that writer put their 2-page spread doesn't always fit into your best of plans. And so anyway, you need some components. There's a lot of moving pieces in a magazine layout. We have these promo insertions, but they're largely like a quarter-page ad, and they're cool. You know, we got a lot of people where here's what they're doing. Check it out on Indiegogo, all that sort of thing. But 3D wanted to do the phone scan thing. The problem, as it turns out, is that you almost have to go one by one to catch all the phones. Now, on some phones, you can go down to considerably smaller, like an eighth of that size, an eighth by an eighth, you know. But yeah, unless you've got the latest iPhone, it's a tough call, and it gets into the minutia. But it's a great idea by 3D, but I don't want to use something that won't work with 100% of the people's smartphones.
Yeah,
and
that's
to make
fair
it work
enough.
with 100% of the smartphones out there, I'd have to go one by one. And I'm telling people I want to promo their book, send me something that's 3.5 by 5, and then to eat up one by one out of 3.5 by 5 is, you know. There's a little shop talk for you. Decisions. I've elected not to.
Oh, I mean, this is shop talk.
Well, I've elected not to go with it because, although it's a great idea, this CG Jumpstart's really about spotlighting the creators, the artists and the writers involved, and so forth. And I just can't quite justify robbing that much square inchage from what I'm able to do.
1 centimeter squares, it'd be a different matter.
Well, I mean, I want to get everybody in. You know, it's not a party unless everybody's invited. I don't have enough room in editorial or in the preview section or the anthology section to get everybody in, but there's definitely some people where I at least want to have them in there in some way. So I give them a promo insertion. It helps me lay out the book, and then we get into the minutia of, can we do this code thing? Well, let's spend 48 hours or so checking into this. Oh, shit. That's really big on the page. Oh, man. I want it to be pretty. All right, we're going with pretty. That's it.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Red Gauge in the chat. Hail, brother. Thank you for joining us. Dusha2 says, yes, it's a great idea to bring letters back, even if we have almost everyday contact with EVS. Yeah, it's, you know, there's something a little bit different, quite a bit different than, you know, just tweeting at somebody and writing, you know, a small essay, a letter of praise or thanks, or, hey, remember when, you know, I met you at this con. You know, he may or may not, but it's a cool story. Yeah. We got Sonic the Hedgehog. Hail, brother. Thank you for joining us. It says, Cyberfrog needs pie ads like the old Hostess ones. That would be fucking funny. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, that actually got discussed.
Did it really?
There's a few things that got discussed, and man, I'm so copyrights and whatnot. I'm hesitant to even discuss what got discussed live on the air because, yeah, there was some, yeah.
Well, yeah, no. Now you're talking about all kinds of different spoilers.
Well, the Hostess ads was, I mean, we do have a parody section, and that's something that we really want to build up, in, you know, as we go forward. But yeah, there's also a lot of places where it's just like, man, can we do that? Well, let's look into it. And then the answer a lot of times was maybe, or maybe you'll get your ass in a sling. It's like, well, we've probably got bigger battles to fight here than whether or not we're going to get hit with something from, you know, the Twinkie company. So.
Concrete Leper asks, hey, Adam, where do I buy your helicopter takeoff fans? Sony sells them, actually, with apparently every Sony Vio laptop. Sonic the Hedgehog asks, Adam, will you come vacuum my floor? Sure. For a price, I will come vacuum your floor. I'll even use my computer to vacuum your floor. I keep moving the damn mic further away from the fucking computer.
More of a blower, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's basically, yeah. Just bring the blower in and just kind of blow the carpet off. I'm sorry. You know, one of these days when my channel gets monetized, I will upgrade to a nice desktop that has a much quieter fan. I don't know why this one is so loud. I really don't. I have no idea. But it is what it is. Fuck off.
Mogwai Centurion says,
Yeah,
this is the fan stream.
I keep moving the damn microphone further away from the fan. I don't like. Pretty soon, I'm gonna have to just put the microphone up on the shelf over there and just deal with it.
Yeah, you're coming in
Fuckers.
loud and clear.
God damn it!
It's fine. It's fine. All you people are locked in. Just listen to the fan.
I know they're all just like that's all they can hear. Like it's just in their minds.
It's cabin fever.
I guess so. So anyway,
letters are good. Essayists out there, people that have some sort of voice. Maybe you want to get noticed. Maybe you want to create a book, but maybe you don't want to do all that. But you still feel like you've got something to say in ComicsGate, and it's more than X number of characters.
Yeah.
Write Ethan a letter.
I know, like show him your love. Yeah. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And meanwhile, 3D Robin is doing puzzle pages, and he's very excited about it. He's got lots of ideas.
He didn't seem so excited about it.
Well, only because I got stuck in this whole Sudoku Japanese nonogram stuff thing, and then I thought to myself, no, I can't do that. No one's going to know what the fuck that is. And Sudoku, it's like for grown-ups, isn't it?
I feel like that's for like old people, not grown-ups.
For old people, yeah. I had to
for
go
the elderly.
I just started putting any old number in, and then just totally fucked it up.
Well, you said you had like, what is it, a salamandroid maze or something?
I've got something sorted out where it's a maze through a city, and you're chasing the pollinate van, and you've just got to avoid explosions and get there. And I think I've got a good. I was hesitant to put a math puzzle in, but I think I'm going to have to, because I think I can pull that one off quite easily. But in the first one, which I don't think anybody's seen, I'm not sure which comic it's going to come out with. I did a word search and a crossword and a maze and like a fill in the picture.
So that you're talking like actual like almost like an activity book.
Yeah, like a puzzle page.
That Alasmat, Alberto Martinez, with his Road Warrior Drake, if you get signed up on his mailing list, he's basically doing an activity book ash can, kind of for the kids actually, which I thought was pretty cool. So it's a little bit similar to that, only you're compressing it to just one page.
Yeah. More like the kind of 50s and 60s style puzzle pages. That was what Ethan kind of pointed me at.
Is it some sort of Mallard propaganda where he's trying to indoctrinate the children?
Maybe. I did hide sex in one of the pieces. Yeah.
That's fucking funny.
He didn't edit it out, so I don't know whether he saw it or not.
Spoilers.
Mogwai says Sudoku is for kids that get scientific calculators for their birthday. Huh? I don't know. It never pushed my button. I was never a fan of Sudoku. But anyhow,
I think things have got to be a bit more pictorial. I think with Cyberfrog, I don't think they need to be necessarily so cerebral, if you know what I mean. Just
you got to think of the medium.
Yeah. So they're really simple. I mean, they're the kind of thing that maybe if you'd had 4 bongs in 20 minutes, you might struggle. But
I think that's probably right about where you want to put it.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Vault here says, I always liked paper puzzles like origami stuff. Well, dude, you need to get on Magic Cop if you haven't already, because it included a do-it-yourself what is it, like box head or something like this. It's blockhead, this thing. And this took me all fucking afternoon to put together.
All afternoon.
Let's see it.
I fucking did it.
That's good.
But it took me all fucking afternoon to do. Thank God for quarantine, I guess, because I didn't have anything better to do with my time. But my God, you talk about a pain in the fucking ass. If any campaign decides they're going to do a goddamn do-it-yourself blockhead, just count me out.
I would imagine with the kid, you've not got scalpels then lying about.
Well, see, I actually, I have my my old model kit, so I do have scalpels, and I've got micro tweezers, and that
Even
kind of
with the
stuff.
proper kit, Adam, it took you all afternoon.
It did. You have no idea, man. Carving all these pieces off of this page, man. I had the cutting board out and sitting there with my scalpel, cutting all these damn pieces out, and then putting it all together. And it obviously doesn't come with any directions. So if you bought Magic Cop and you're going to put this together, I can give you helpful tips. Do the body first, and then the legs, then the arms, then the head, and then you can actually get it together in a pretty easy order. Oh fuck! Phil was like, "You should do a time lapse video." I was like, "A time lapse video? I don't think would actually hear all the cursing that I was doing while I was putting this fucking thing together."
There was no little instructions, like a graphical instruction.
No. The only instructions it had on it was it had 3 tabs, N, O, and M. It said you have to glue these tabs or tape. And then for the wand, it said you had to cut out and roll to fit into his little hand. And man, I've rolled a lot of fucking joints and shit in my day. To roll this piece of fucking thick ass paper to fit in his fucking hand was the hardest thing that I've ever fucking done. My God.
Like when you're just like, anybody got any wraps and they hand you a pack of oranges and you're like, oh man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, shit. All right, fine. I can make do with that. But man, rolling that thing, dude, I ended up licking the damn thing to moisten it, to make it more malleable, and then rolled it up. Oh, fuck.
That's giving the Magic Cop's giving you the full workout, Adam.
It did. It really did.
There's a lot of nice little goodies in that, wasn't there?
Oh, there was. I will say that, man. That was that package. It landed on my doorstep looking like a fucking TONIHGT package because it was this fucking big. I was like, my God, what did I all fucking order? Because it was a drunk backing, to be honest with you guys. I didn't remember really backing the book. I just knew I backed the book, but I was drunk when I did it. But yeah, it had an 11x17 print. It had 2 normal comic book size prints, 2 double-sided bookmarks, stickers. This fucking guy, the book in the ash can. And I tell you what, money well spent. Money well spent. But anyway, we're way the fuck off topic now. But anyway, you've got your screen share up. Can I go ahead and put that on screen? All right. So we're talking. We got some layouts here. 3D Robin, 3D Jumpstart, or CG Jumpstart. Now my mind's all twisted now.
3D Jumpstart.
3D Jumpstart.
Yeah, I've certainly put my mark on it, I think. Yeah, this is the back cover, front cover, layout ideas. I don't know whether I think I showed Steve, but I didn't show you guys some of the other back cover ideas that I had.
Yeah, run us through the gamut. Yeah, sure. If anybody has any votes, this is the one that I have sitting in the InDesign file. This is the one that I like. But the final decision. Jumpstart is 99.9% done. We still got to settle on the back cover.
I quite like this one, but I wasn't into I would rather have the fades not there, so that it just went image into the curves.
Can you zoom a bit on that? It's even with the full screen, it's a little there. Yeah, that's better. There we go.
Zoom that one.
It's quite low res.
Yeah, bring it in tighter. We'll talk about that for a sec. See, the thing about this thing is generally speaking, I quite like it, and the idea that 3D had was to highlight the artists and the projects that are within. Gat, on the other hand, brings up the word pristine a lot when it comes to cover treatments. So he's pretty adamant that we do the logo thing. But, what else, the design elements that Peter brings into it. He created the Jumpstart logo. It, I wanted it to have sort of a racing stripe. We talked about that, and he created that. On this treatment, we're wrapping it around the spine, around the back cover, and I think that looks really good. And then he also did all those cool, that's a black background, and you can see the CG underlay is what we're calling it. And throughout the book, we use various. And there he's using the.
Here's some of the other underlays we're using. Just parts
I mean,
of the
that's just,
Jumpstart
all that is 3D stuff. When you see CG underlaid underneath the text, looking really cool, that's 3D magic. And yeah, how he laid that out. Again, I don't think this is the way we'll go on the back, but the that kind of obelisk thing. We had a long conversation about doing the old 4-color comic dot thing.
Yeah, that's it. That's featured in the in a different way on the inside contents, just as a backdrop for each of the Ignite and starter pack.
Zaid Comics IC says, "Wow, what is this?"
These are ideas for the back cover for Jumpstart.
Okay.
Because this is what where we're at the moment, which is just like the CG only with an extra bit of whoever the cover artist in, overlaid. But this is all up for debate at the moment.
Yeah,
these were my earlier ideas,
and it's kind of, man, that's a tough decision because I like the simplicity of just that CG only with basically translucent where you can see the art underneath it. But that featuring page, that one there, that one really says something to me.
Yeah, we can't fit everybody on though, can we? That's cram on 12 artists in here. That would be really cool. So I think this is the more elegant solution, and it also follows the design stylings that we put onto Vestige as well. So it's keeping it within the stable, so to speak, of their imprint.
Yeah. Do Shitu says the one with the logo only is my personal favorite. Vault is right there with me. A little torn. One is simple, the other is more informative. Yeah.
Well, that's something where you want to do. It's a magazine, but it's a comic book magazine, and But
we looked last week. We looked at the table of contents, and they even showed it on War Campaign 2, where I think that one is very well designed, and that's right inside. Obviously, shows you exactly what's going on in the book, what's there, who's in it. So personally, I think the simple cover is a lot. I think it says a lot more. I guess it does. It doesn't say a lot more, but it.
Well, I think it fits within the general brand that we're establishing.
Yeah.
And, at the end of the day, it's Gat's preference. So there you go.
That's true. It doesn't really matter what we think. It's all good.
Well,
Gat's final call. It is his baby.
Yeah.
Oh, this is it. Which is the starting PDF starter pack, is it?
Yeah, that one.
Version.
Yeah, and much like the other night, this is not actually the final. There's an updated page, but that definitely has all the design elements, and that's something 3D's been just invaluable and a lot of fun. Where I've got, I'm doing the page composition and so forth. I've got a background.
Yeah, Steve's handling the layout. This one turned out really nicely, though, Steve.
But sometimes I rough it out, and this thing here, what it looked like when I showed it to 3D was, in terms of, it was 80% there, but that motif where we've got the oval wrap and the old school comics dot thing going on and all that. That's just something that me and him, it's a lot of fun. We'll get together 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, my time, middle afternoon for his time, and we'll kick ideas around. And then I'll be like, I want something like this, but I hate this. And then 3D just fixes all my problems.
Yeah, I said, how about something with a plaster theme? Like a sticky. Oh, I'm joking, of course. I don't know what you Band-Aids. Yeah, that's what I'm going for. Band-Aids, yeah, Steve, Band-Aids. And he went, yeah.
Band-Aids. We'll just use a little whiteout if we have
No,
to.
the idea was the halftone dot that's so synonymous with comic print. But I think it has, now I've said Band-Aid, probably people would just think Band-Aid. I shouldn't have said anything.
I know what you mean. You mean like the old color process where they just put the dots on the page.
Yeah, exactly, Adam.
Yeah, that's what brought together. And yeah, we just kind of we were having our, for me, like I say, it's a late morning sabbatical of sorts, but we just get together and kick it, and then we're like, yeah, that, I was like, hey, maybe like this, and he's like, well, maybe like that, and then we arrive at something. And yeah, 3D's been essential in having kind of a unified sense of design throughout the magazine, which is really important to me. And that's when we first
you can set that up with motifs like this background jumpstart that we've got going on, just to subtly, it's only a very light gray, but it's just enough to lift to give more structure to the page. And it's just, you can do it and it can take over. And that's what I was very conscious of, trying to tone it down and keep it in the background, and so that it's there, but your eyes not so much drawn to it. That's the real trick.
Yeah, well, he did me page backgrounds that are variant gradients, whites on grays, grays on whites, and so forth. He developed that kind of side page header thing where it's a CG JUMPSTART, and we use it in a vertical fashion there, but in another section of the magazine we use it in a horizontal fashion.
I've got a whole bunch of
stuff like that. He's like, here's a toy box, use these. I will. Yeah, and then occasionally, like some of these, I'm like, I need one that's more these tones to go with this art. And then he's like, well, give me the RGBs on it. And I'm like, well, it's 3370 45 or whatever the fuck it is. He's like, hang on a minute. And then boom, I've got it. It's fantastic.
I'm working on some of the numbers. Steve was just putting a font without any kind of funky design in at all. I was like, what are you doing? Just can't just put a number there.
This is unacceptable.
This is outrageous.
No, I love how they look like racing numbers.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing's got this kind of engine vibe to it, hasn't it? That's very subtle. I mean, other than the names, because if you're thinking ignition, why is this ignition and burn and starter pack? Starter pack had me thrown because, we don't use that.
I was going to say, is that an American term?
Yeah, it's an Americanism. But everything else, the compression and ignite.
Yeah, and then what happened today, Robin?
My battery was flat when I went to try and go to the shops.
You needed a starter pack.
I have got one. Yeah, I've got one. Yeah, but
they don't call it that apparently. But yeah.
Yeah, it's just a battery. It's just
funny
a
how that comes
start.
around. I had to explain that, I don't know what your colloquial.
I got a whole lecture on how to maintain a car from Steve for 30 minutes. Thanks very much.
Well, of course you did. I mean, he's pretty much everybody's dad / uncle.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've got a starter pack. So
when was the last time you changed your oil?
Well, that was at the service that it had in October. I get it serviced every year. I don't do a lot.
That's
more than 3 months.
Yeah.
3D doesn't do a lot of driving.
I don't do a lot of driving.
And then in his current,
I was self-isolating before this whole virus thing.
You're one of those that like self-isolation. Like, well, fuck, I've been doing that for years.
Yeah, I've been getting out more. I've been going out more now that everybody's inside. So that's the kind of contrary man I am.
Like, well, this is great. There's nobody out. I'm going out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. No, I must have left the vanity light on or something like that, or because it certainly wasn't the headlights. But yes, tomorrow I shall try using the starter pack. I should try and boot it up, and if that fails, I'll throw some money at it, and we'll get the rescue guys to fit a new battery in for me, and then I shall go and get meat, which is the only thing I'm missing is meat.
Need that meat to survive.
I need fucking meat, for God's sake. Yeah, I mean, let the goddamn animals eat the vegetables, yeah, and I'll eat the animals for the high protein.
Dude, that's exactly my way of thinking, man. The animals eat the vegetables. I eat the animals. I get my vegetables.
Yeah, it's the chain, isn't it?
It is
the circle of life.
Hell yeah, brother! Fucking cheers to that.
Yeah.
Vault kind of he said something that made me think of something here. Maybe use the second version as chapter tabs and keep the clean back cover. I think the clean one is more professional, so keep it. My 2 cents. Yeah, did you guys ever play around with the idea of kind of where you get the bleed off the edge of the page to where you can look at the magazine from the page end and see the color difference to see where the different chapters start?
Steve,
like you know what I'm trying to ask.
I know
right?
what you're saying.
Okay, like I wasn't sure if I was coming through quite clearly there.
I mean, there's a lot of things that essentially, at the end of the day, that's something that was bantered about. But one of the things, I think the essential thing that I needed to address with doing the color design on this is I definitely try to have a unified, one color leads to another color and leads to another color. But at the same time, I've got a lot of pages of art, colored art, and that is the thing, that's the thing. So I need to complement. This book is about the artists and the writers and the creators within ComicsGate. So at the end of the day, I'm trying to complement whatever's on the page from the creator being featured. And as much as I love all these graphics, they're largely kept off of anywhere where there's sequential art in the preview section.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But when we're showing, I've got that great 8-page interview with Andrew Horta, obviously, and he sent over some fantastic art. Really complements the book. And I was looking at 600 DPI TIFFs for a minute that morning. Let me tell you, I had that shit blown up on the big screen going, wow. But eventually I had to place them on the page. And at that point, the color selection is dictated by what Andrew gives me, not by what I'm trying to do, because I'm featuring Andrew. So,
that makes sense. No, yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah. So there's a lot of places where there's 3D can tell you, I would go to him and say, on Phil Diaz's page, which is, it's a 2-page spread and it's talking about paneling design and all that. And EVS was gracious enough to provide us with an original page from Cyberfrog. And he used that as one example. And he used a page from Magic Cop as the other example. And I had 3D build me a page header that keyed off of those specific colors, So anyway.
No, I think that's a very important quality that I think gets overlooked a lot of times in comic books is that, when you turn the page, the comic books are a very visual medium, but I love when I turn a page and everything on that page matches the same color tone. Like everything kind of, it flows, it fits the mood of the page. Just reading Magic Cop yesterday, they did a really good job of that, as matching the mood and tone with the entire page. It's not each panel has its own color palette. It's the whole page has its own color palette, and they work off of that. I think that's definitely something that is lost upon the mainstream these days.
Well, yeah, I mean, I certainly appreciate that approach because, again, that's the one that I'm taking. Yeah, with 3D's help. You know, I mean,
what we had to do with the magazine was more focus on the Jumpstart title. I think on especially more so on the editorial pages. Just just to get across, you know, that constantly I think that you were reading a magazine would be a bit too much, but I think with theming it with the little bits of Jumpstart headers and you know, I think, let me just bring up another page so we've got like a
keeping a really consistent look. 3D was also a big help with establishing, I mean, for body text, for body copy, you know, I know what works in a magazine, but at the same time, definitely a second set of eyes and a second brain and all that when it comes to a unified, just having a unified design throughout. You know, there's a lot of the more ornate touches where it's totally 3D, being like, well, maybe this font. And I'm like, I don't have that font. And he's like, well, here. And then I install that font, and then, you know,
my approach to that is to try and, I think if you're using 6 or 7 fonts on a page, you're crazy. You're mad. I think it really helps to condense things down to 3, 4 tops, depending really. But if you're using serif fonts, then you want to stick with serif fonts. If you're using sans serifs, then stick with sans serifs. If you start to mix styles and you've got frilly bits and things like that. So I picked out what I thought was some nice, clean sans serif fonts to use specifically that I felt would fit with the main font we were using on the cover. And on here on the starter pack and ignition, this is a font called Long Haul, and it's italicized, which is a slightly unusual, I think, for a main head. But we were trying to convey this emotion and speed. And
that's what I was going to say, like a sense of motion.
Yeah. I mean, it's you know, sounds crazy to say that you can just make something italic and it sort of changes its dynamic, but it does.
Well, that's
yeah.
Some of these, for me, mid-morning conversations with 3D, we go pretty deep into what we're trying to convey. Again, you know, it's not something that we're trying to beat to death, but the magazine is Jumpstart because we want to give everybody involved within ComicsGate a kind of a launching pad to help get their new projects going, to showcase what they're doing, to showcase what's coming soon.
Yeah, you know, fingers crossed.
Jumpstart, and then, you know, then the engine motif thing is we want to drive this thing forward.
Yeah, fingers crossed. In, you know, God willing, 2 or 3 issues down the line, it will have really come into itself, because I think there's stuff that we can refine, Steve. I think we might have gone a bit overboard, you know, kind of trying to really impress. I'm not sure that a lot of it's necessary.
I don't know. I think I got to disagree there. I think you should always be trying to impress the audience in every way possible, down to the smallest nuance. Where you're like, oh, they ain't gonna notice this, man. This is fucking comic books. Comic book fans notice.
Well, that wasn't quite what I meant, but I still think there's room within the book to the magazine to refine how we enter the different sections. And me and Steve have talked for hours about that. And I still think there's a solution out there that I haven't given Steve. So, you know, I'm I'm not sort of saying anything wrong here, but I believe that in somewhere inside my head there is a really amazing way we can pull it all together, so to speak, with a nice rug. Do you know what I mean? I think we've got something there. We've maybe got like a coffee table, but we need a nice rug.
The rug really pulls the room together,
really
man.
Pulls the room together. Yeah, 3D and I talk a lot about the rug. Well, you know, I agree in part that there's a lot of room for refinement left, but I also think that, you know, speaking of hours, Robin and I have spent a lot of hours, you know, because I'm pretty adamant that we hope that this is a success. We hope that there'll be many more to come and all of that, but I don't want to. I want to design it one time and stay true to that design for some.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the elements can be reused, and you know, a lot of the colors can be changed up, and
keep that consistent design throughout.
I'm definitely not expecting you know the same amount of workload for the next issues at all.
I'm big on color changes. When I first started working with 3D on doing some refinements to the Vestige logo, part of it keyed on that, and part of it with everything involving the Jumpstart logo was about, I want to be able to change up 3 different colors here on this Jumpstart logo. You know, I want the logo to remain consistent, but I want to be able to key the coloring into whatever the art is and tie it all together thematically, yada yada. So you know, I think the design elements I want to remain pretty constant. Who's to say that the red stuff on the screen won't be blue next time? I don't know. Maybe that'll look cool. We'll see.
Yeah, it just kind of depends on, you know, we haven't revealed the feature of the next issue. We've kind of glided over it in spoilers and not really talked about it. But yeah, you know, like you said, who's to say that it won't work better with blue next time?
Yeah.
This was the initial. This was. I remember we talked about when I first came on the show, Adam. The initial idea for the Jumpstart logo was this. Amongst a couple of other designs that we didn't go with, and then I evolved it into this. But always had in my mind, we'll use a 2-tone color thing that Steve can then run. I mean, this could be blue on white, or you know, something flexible that can be changed up. And then as I developed it here, you can see me just trying a different.
Yeah. I love that. Just that angle, man. I don't know what it is about it, but that angle just.
We continue to refine all that, you know. I mean, we talked about sometimes I want to be able to show the image. I want a transparency on the logo so that we can see the image through it. Other times I won't.
Yeah.
And 3D's like, yeah, we can do that. So
yeah, just it's amazing design work. The Dude Shitu says, I disagree. In current Big 2, there is fuchsia all over the place. Yeah, they love their fuchsia tones.
We didn't really go there, but we are doing some bright colors, I have to say. But
bright colors is one thing, but the fact that they are stuck on that fuchsia tone, and like, I don't know who, somebody said it the other day on Twitter about how they're all about the CMKY, and they don't want to. All of a sudden, they don't want to divert from that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where they're at. They don't want to go RGB. They're all about the CMKY.
Well, eventually you have to convert it to be sure, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, to be blunt, I sent a rather blunt email to a colorist we're considering for a project just this morning, and I'm like, back off the pinks and the purples, and for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, Jesus, like, come on, man, like.
I bet you there's a lot of ComicsGate colorists that are now getting rid of purple and fuchsia stuff in their work that's yet to come out. Oh shit!
Yeah, like I'm okay. Like you did this whole page, and you're like, no, okay, I'm gonna wipe that page. Just wipe that right off and start over and get rid of that. We'll go RGB full force right here.
Yeah, that's, I mean, doing this index page, the table of contents, that's 3D. And I mean, I was like, I want bold primary colors. I want this to look like comic books.
We got Do again. He says, "Don't underestimate comic book readers' spurgery."
Yeah.
That's true. That's a very good. That's actually it's a really good point because comic book readers, they're spurgs, whether you're actually on the spectrum or not. They all are. They notice those minute details. Zero says, "I just finished reading David Finch's Moon Knight. It has great art, trapped in a void of bland meaninglessness." Ouch.
Wow, it's deep.
Yeah, because I mean, David Finch is he's a good artist. Absolutely. I don't like everything that he's done, but I mean, he's still a damn good artist. We got Snacks and Comics has joined us. Hail, everyone. Hail, Snacks and Comics. Thanks for coming tonight.
Oh, brother. What about the logos for the... show us the logos for the individual products, 3D. Let's talk about that.
Got the bullet maker here. You can see all the warts and all. How I've made it with a bullet.
The warts and all is going to become that's going to become a widely used phrase. I feel like.
You can see.
Oh shit! Look at that.
Actually,
because yeah, we talked about this a bit the last time that you were on about you don't use something about the fonts. You don't use fonts.
Well, I manipulate them. I won't just use a straight font I've downloaded. I'll get in there and
show some wizardly.
I'll get in there and mess about with them.
So this is what I do at about 10 o'clock in the morning. I just get this guy on the line, and I'm like, it's like Saturday morning cartoons to watch him work.
Yeah, everything's made up of splines. You see, vertices and vectors.
It's beautiful. I could hear your mouse click, and it's music to my ears, brother.
Yeah, this is my morning routine. A couple, 3 times a week. It's great.
Well, it's all right. Probably all right watching.
Well, you said this last time. You're like, I just do my best to be not shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's an oversimplification of hundreds of different things running through my head, right? Because to define it would be, a massive list of different things on form and shape and balance, and you get a feel for how things look, and your eye might you step back and look at it and go, well, this bit's weak. And this bit's strong, and I try and work to consistently make things. If you're going to do a bad job, make it all bad. That's what I say. If you're going to do a good job, then all of it should be good.
So, Gat comes up with an idea. We spend the next several days talking over that idea. Gat slaps a title on it. I'm like, is that one word or 2? It's one word, Steve. I'm like, okay. And then at some point in the process, we discuss, how does this fit on a cover? Does this work on a cover? Will it, think about the dimensions, Gat, this and that. But we're also all along talking about, bullet maker. And the U is a bullet. And there's bullet holes. That's what we bring to 3D Robin. And then the rest of it, I explain the design problem to him and the design attributes. And this is what he comes up with. It's fucking awesome.
The bullet took me a while to sort out. I think the first few versions were, I don't know, maybe I can find them.
I think that bullet as the U it's gorgeous.
Well, we told him to do that. And yeah, his first few versions, I'm not going to say they were bullshit, but they obviously, and he knew that. I mean, it's not like I was like bullshit, but they didn't have the right weight. That's when he talks about manipulating the fonts.
It is. It's all about the lighting on it is what really makes it. Because I mean, it's clearly a bullet, but it's the lighting on it that makes the U.
Yeah. That had to be emphasized. That had to be.
Yeah,
and
like
I'll show you how.
Close. This is the one. I think that this is the one where we said, yeah, but I think this is the one that launched us in the eventual where we wound up.
So I've got a representation of a light here that I can drag about, and depending on where you put it, you'll get a different effect. So if I think I originally had it over here, and you'll see that.
I'm sitting here again, just like the last time you were out here, man. I'm just like giddy watching you fucking do this shit.
Dude, it's so much fun.
It is.
I do it like 2 or 3 times a week. It's a blast. Like,
I love this program.
ComicsGate is so like, Jesus, It's like I'm just going to turn Twitter off and get 3D Robin up on the Skype. Then my enthusiasm comes back.
What's probably not coming through is the noise I've put on the red for the bottom for the bleed out, which is difficult to show unless I kind of zoom in. I think on one of the tails.
Don't mumble 3D. That's another good example where the I mean, I got some Photoshop skills. I can run a simple gradient, but then I can also tell Robin, I'm like, here's why I think this stupid thing of mine, for an example, sucks. And he's like, well, give me a minute. I'll throw a little dirt here and a little there. And
it actually needs a few more of these little subtle breakups of the line, just dropped in every now and again.
All that texture stuff. That's what makes it.
It really is. And that's, you and Gat talking about the logo. It's something that I feel like a lot of creators don't really take into consideration. Is that, you've got this great concept, but you need, one, you need a title. 2, you need to make that title look beautiful. You need to make it jump off of that page and stand on its own. Like, imagine your logo as a t-shirt. Would you buy that?
There you go. Yeah, that's well said, Adam. Yeah.
That's why
if you put that logo on a black t-shirt.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I had to work it out though so that it would work on white as well. So the outlines just kind of it's actually a secondary element.
Well, if you're going to print a comic book or a graphic novel, your cover is a touch less than 7 inches wide. Now, how do you want to use that space? And it's a little bit old school thinking, but back in the day when newsstands were a thing, the logo always went on the top. I mean, it's pretty cool to put the logo at the bottom if that's what it works compositionally. And we're obviously not selling this stuff through a newsstand, but I'm still a little bit old school where if the logo's at the bottom, I can't see Sports Illustrated on the newsstand unless it says Sports Illustrated at the top of the freaking magazine because they're in a rack. So I don't know. I mean, I really like the t-shirt thing is a lot more A to B, but I think about how it's going to look on a cover. How will this look on a cover? Can we fit this? I mean, like Bullet Maker's a handful. That's a lot of letters to fit within 6 7/8 inches.
Yeah, I've made it quite narrow.
So it needs to be something tall and angular, so that it's got some depth to it as well as width, because you've only got so much width to play with. So then you get a guy like 3D, and you're like, bro, it needs to be tall. And I mean, that's absolutely.
It's quite hard though. I mean, I might I might do some other variations that are maybe tapered or slightly or something like that. It's quite full on, and Joe's work's really organic, and you know it's quite contrasty. Really, I think there's probably something I can do to help the blend.
Well, I'll tell you this. Let me see if I can let out my way through this. Be on the right screen. These are all considerations that you have to. How is it going to look on a cover? How is it going to look on a T-shirt, Adam? That's fucking genius. That's for sure.
It really is. I mean, I just got my Cyborg USA package yesterday, and it came with the T-shirt. It was the T-shirt bundle, and his logo, that Cyborg USA logo, works so great on just a black T-shirt. And that's what you really got to think about. Because, I mean, not only are you selling a comic book, but you're selling a brand in itself. You want to be more than just comic books. You want that logo to be the brand that helps you get out there and really make your name a household name. And if you can't get a logo that you can put on a T-shirt or on a coffee mug, whatever it might be, then really all you've got is a great idea.
You're going for iconic, and you've got to think about it in every permutation.
Exactly.
You might want to establish your brand. Every permutation. How will it work on? Will it work on a window sticker? Will it work on a T-shirt? Will it work on a cover?
Window sticker. That's another good one too. You know.
Yeah. Will it work? That's your brand. I don't know if you want to share that or not, Adam, but I think iconic. I mean, I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, see, I think that's great. I love the way that works together, the way intake looks. You know, Bullet Maker on the page stands out. It's not overtaking the black and whites that we've got in the magazine.
I feel like it works.
Yeah, I think it fits great. You know, like Robin was saying with Joe's art. You know, you gotta work with the story, with the art itself. You know, I think I said this the last time that we did this show. You know, doing these comics is like being in a rock band. Everybody's got to work in harmony with each other to put out the best work. You can have a fantastic guitarist and a shit drummer and a shit bassist and an okay lead singer, and it's not going to be great as if you had an amazing guitarist, an amazing drummer, an amazing bassist, and an amazing lead singer.
Yeah. But if you got a great drummer that can play in the pocket, then you riff off of that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a harmony. Yeah. And I think that's what gets lost a lot of times.
Yeah, you certainly don't want a logo to be better than the book, though. That's always a consideration. Not that.
Let's look at some more logos. You did some other logos.
Yeah, I had the Ruins of Adirian one up earlier, didn't I? Let me see if I can bring that up. I had some ideas about integrating Doodle's artwork into that. So I grabbed a section of his section of the book within the arena in which the wizards fight, and then I wanted this kind of you can't really see it that well on there, but if I can,
Ruins of Adirian.
Yeah, if I can grab the.
So Shit2 wants to know, does CG Jumpstart, is it going to be available in laminate pages? Because I have a feeling that I'm going to be constantly jizzing reading it.
Hell, brother.
You'll have to buy 2 copies.
That's why I'm buying 2 copies. One's going to be a sticky version, and one's going to be a clean version. Vault says current creators don't care about logos. 90s did. Spider-Man, Spawn, and Venom come to mind as iconic to me. Yeah, man, that 90s Spider-Man logo, I loved it, man. I can't tell you how many times I traced that in my notebooks. I love that Spider-Man logo.
Well, yeah,
yeah.
man. I mean,
a lot of that old stuff was really nice and simple and clean and impactful. And
Whoa.
yeah. I mean, I don't. I'm realistic enough to know that our target audience is men 30 to 60. At the same time, I think what we want to evoke is when you put your favorite band name on your notebook, you know, and if they didn't have a cool fucking name, you'd pick your second favorite band. It was fun to draw.
yeah.
Iconic. Yeah, Vault's right, you know, and I mean, that's something we think about a lot. You know, this is something that we really...
When I was talking with the designer that did my Arch City logo, I said, look, I want something that's not too over the top. I want something that essentially a teenager could draw in their notebook. That is exactly what I told him.
There you go.
And we went over a couple of designs, and he landed on the one that I have now, and I was like, yes, that's the one. It's not over the top. It's simplistic. It's got to. And the first one didn't. I was like, no, man, it's got to have an arch in it. It has to. The one that I doodled up in my notebook had it was the arch, and it had Arch City Comics like underneath, inside the arch. And I was like, go off of this. It has to be something that a kid can doodle in his notebook. And he's like, okay, hold on. And he came back with a couple different designs, and I was like, that's the one. That's the one. It's not overly complicated. It's kind of iconic. I love that's what a logo has to be.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, your whole T-shirt thing. That's the best way I've ever heard it said. I'm going to start using that instead of my deal. But yeah, I mean, that's what 3D brings. Show us that Runes of Adirian stuff. Show us how that's weighted.
You'll have to reshare your screen too, Robin.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought I was. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, when you hit stop, it went away.
But I think this is a good example of, he's got the balance and the weight to where.
Yeah, so I wanted to integrate this. I thought I was showing before, but wasn't. I wanted to integrate part of Doodle's arena sketch, and then all this crazy magic going on in the foreground. I think we lose this feeling of being inside an arena on such a wide text, but you get the impression something's going on, something crazy is happening.
Well, I mean, first of all, for the viewers out there, Runes of Adirian is Gat Hanzo and the project with Doodle that was the first thing. It was on the front burner. It's still on the stove. Doodle's obviously doing Vestige 2 now, but we're still going to do Runes of Adirian, and it's kind of a magic battle type of saga thing. But yeah, as far as the logo, there you go, 3D. That's what I want you to show. He came up with a very iconic, he did his font thing, he did the general design, but he can import, it's designed so that he can import images within the outlines of the logo. So show some variations on that. That's what we're going to do. It's badass.
Yeah, I think this is just, I used this sky background, and then that's masked off to Doodle's art here, which is a crop of just a section that I think I've replicated and mirrored out.
Doodle is a cubist. This is interesting.
And then, combining those elements and then putting in a foreground, a nice foreground sort of battle effect. I think I've got some stuff, some other kind of magic effect. But yeah, you know, just getting some pictures of electricity and nice skies and things. I think I tried building it in 3D at one stage, but that wasn't going to work. Although it might have worked. But I was just barking down the wrong tree there, really. It was just, I was thinking, fuck, this is going to take fucking ages. I can't do this.
Yeah, this is my mid-morning phone call. 3D saying, well, it might have worked. Fuck, it didn't take ages. Hold on. I'm going to make another spot of tea.
Yeah, make some tea. I think this was another magic jizzed all over the screen.
I like that magic jizz. The sparkles.
Yeah.
It is just, it's incredible
like
to, yeah.
Hit the button and show the result. I was about to yell at you.
Actually,
show some backlights on that son bitch. It's cool.
I need to crop it a bit.
So was that something? That was something that you took, and then you added all the like the coloring and the sparkles and shit.
Yeah, no, it's all just multi-layered effects, and yeah. That's in a different. I've got them in a different program that I'm running, and I just.
He takes like an image I give him, and then he warps it into some crazy perspective, and then he adds all this, sprinkles on top.
Again, it's
like the best ice cream store ever.
It's the same trick again, and I'm using extruded tubes.
This is sorcery.
Isn't it? It feels like it, doesn't it?
You get that nice kind of rounded, metallic look to it.
That's so cool. I mean, that is so fucking cool. Yeah, to a layman like me, it looks like you are just seriously just waving your magic wand, just like amazingness.
Yeah, well, it's all faked. It's all really easy techniques.
Well, isn't all magic is fake.
I guess so. But yeah, you can get right in there and render out. This is what I like about 3D. It will just stay clean no matter how close you get.
Yeah, that's just spectacular, man. So what's the do you have a final? What's the final look like?
I think the one we went with was more of the electricity. So
I did like that one. I like that one a lot.
That's this one. Which, you can't really zoom in much on that one because
makes me think of like the Metallica Ride the Lightning cover.
Yes. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was thinking.
Fuck yeah.
So you've got that bright spark in the center, but everything still has to be legible, which I think it is.
Yeah, that's a very, very important part in designing logos. Is you have to make sure
stuff that's got a picture within it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to make sure that it's still legible to the reader, but also make it, I mean, look like this. Yeah, that's make that a little bit bigger. Yeah,
it's got a good feeling to it, hasn't it? It's got a nice sort of, it's kind of medieval, kind of, I think that's with the Gothic style of font that I picked for it, and then just by giving it that big fat stroke with that kind of metallic feel. And I wanted wide letters so I could get a picture in there because I really wanted that iconic arena look. But I don't think you're getting that at all, really. It's lost. but you're getting the sense of it, which is as good, I think.
Yeah, I mean I feel like the font takes you back to the time, like the time frame of it,
Yeah.
and then the lightning adds that magical aspect to it. Yeah, this is I dig this. I don't know what Gat says of this, but I dig this a lot, and it really does. I mean that it gives me that Ride the Lightning vibe so bad, and I love that. It was the first Metallica album I ever got.
Right on. Yeah, I like this rendition of it. But yeah, we're very, very happy with it, and it's one of those deals where it's got that malleable aspect that I spoke about earlier, where the essential logo never changes, and yet what you put into it can evoke what's going on in any given, issue of your comic or what have you.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see maybe in if there's other. I don't know whether Ruins is going to be reoccurring, but it'd be nice to see it with a different magic effect or something like that. If I could develop that.
Well, yeah. I mean, Ruins is pretty well mapped out and quite a lot written out, and honestly, it's something that we would want to pursue with Doodle. But yeah, I mean, Vestige's second volume of Vestige is the priority. We were encouraged quite heavily by Caesar himself.
Yeah, I think that's a good move. It's a sensible move.
Yeah, well, and I mean, if Caesar decrees it and all that, of course.
And I mean, it's the same kind of motif, train of thought as you got to strike while the iron's hot. It's it's the exact same reason that he went from Blood Honey to Wreck Planet instead of doing Rainbow the Brute in between.
Yeah, it is exactly the same thing, and so we were advised, and so we will listen. But it was definitely this thing. At present, we intend to continue to serialize it in Jumpstart. There's some stuff that was never planned to be in Jumpstart that makes it part of the greater arcing story, and we had to reassign Doodle basically because he was the guy that, as his work on Ruins of Adirion really kind of showed us that he could be our guy to keep the schedule we want to have for Vestige on track. And I mean,
well, like I said,
we're gonna keep that going. Doodle's really prolific. Doodle's turning in like a page a day, pretty much. Other than
he's quick. I absolutely love watching him do his work on Drawn and Backhold because his ink work is bar none. It really is.
Yeah, that was another factor, Adam. I mean, it's something that I mean, I don't want to get but me and Gat want to keep Vestige on track and something. But watching Doodle on Drawn and Backhold, he consistently was not just holding his own, but drawing some of the characters as well as the creators that we had on board. I mean, art is subjective, but he showed the ability to use his style in that style in such a way that we were like, wow, okay, well, maybe it's time to tap this kid on the shoulder with the sword.
Yeah, I really do think he was an excellent choice. I mean, fuck, I think he was the only choice, to be honest with you guys, unless you were pulling some talent out of nowhere. Well, like you did with Doodle. I mean, Gat pulled him out of fucking nowhere. It was like, boom, look at this guy. But yeah, his style, as we looked at in the beginning of the stream, I think works perfectly with what Donal laid out in the beginning.
I saw a nice shot. I don't think you guys have seen, but it was Doodle just working on some characters, and it really showed his commitment to the project. Really, it was really nice to see. I mean, it's what anybody would have done. I would have hoped, to just get a feel for the characters that he was going to take over. But I was impressed by what I saw. It was good.
I appreciate you saying that. I'll tell an inside baseball story here. one morning 3D was asking me, I was like, you know, and this was shortly after we were counseled by Caesar to, you know, move forward with Vestige 2. And 3D, you know, rightly expressed, you know, he said, you know, well, are you concerned with moving on with another artist if that's what you have to do? And I was like, of course we are. And let me show you this. And then I showed him some stuff that Doodle had turned in, you know, which were character designs and so forth. You know, hey, we need you to draw. I mean, neither Gat nor myself are shy about having somebody jump through some hoops, you know, to make it happen. And but anyway, I showed it to 3D, and he was like, yeah, mate, I think you'll be fine."
Yeah.
I felt, yeah, you know.
I mean, obviously not, because you guys
No-brainer.
pushed Donald into you know, into a corner and was like, "Hey, I want you to do it like this, not like you did this, but like this."
Well, I mean,
it's good for the creative for the people who are paying for the stuff to tell you what they want. I think. I mean, it's also good to have a blank canvas, and sometimes that's bad because you've got too many options. But a good artist can work with both sorts of briefs. But I often prefer just to be told exactly what to do. To be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like we kind of. Well, I feel like stylistically, we made some demands on Donald and so forth, which he, you know, exceeded in every way. Did a fantastic job. But yeah, I mean, Donald himself actually was not. He was like, "You guys write it, I'll draw it," and okay, you know, and that's. At the end of the day, Gat's imagination is hard to capture, either as an editor or as an artist. But he has very specific ideas, and you know, we do our scripts pretty much full script. Definitely allow for some give and take with the artist. You know, I mean, we're amenable to a better idea, but Gat's got a very definitive idea of the story he wants to tell, and then we discuss how to make it. My input is how to make it break from page to page or from section to section, and yeah, I don't know. You know, I mean, yeah, there's room to color outside the lines, but we're trying to tell a very specific story here, and we need this to happen at this specific place. So,
see, I think Gat tells when he writes stories, he writes like I do. He sees the entire comic book in his mind. You know, page for page, he knows exactly where each panel should be. So, and yeah, you at a point, you as a writer, you have to kind of give up control a little bit to let the artist shine. But I'm fairly certain that Gat is like me, and he sees everything as he pans it out. You know, as he writes each page, each panel, he can see it on the page.
he knows the story he wants to tell.
Yeah,
we kind of mutually panel it out because we want it to have, you know, every right hand page in a comic book. I mean, hard to achieve, but that's what we aspire to. Every lower right hand panel on every right hand page is a cliffhanger to make you want to turn the page.
exactly.
So to make the beats of a big story arc fit, you know, and then you get into the. I mean, yeah, let's not get that boring, but you get into the printing aspects where you definitely want the lower right hand or page 24, whether it's a panel or whether it's a splash. Even if you're doing a 48-page graphic novel, which is what I recommend, you still want page 24 to end on. We might recollect this as a floppy at some point, and this should be the jump off, jump back in point.
No, that's good advice. That's really good advice. Everybody out there who's an aspiring writer should write in 24-page segments with that, you know, 48-page overarching story. Honestly, the best way to do it is to do 12-page segments. do 4 12-page segments.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Well,
But yeah, you have to have that idea in your mind that yes, this is going to get busted out into a 24-page floppy, which in a 48 page is obviously 2.
You can write a comic book as a 3-act structure, a 4-act structure. Fucking A, you can go all Beatles on it and do verse, chorus, bridge, fucking chorus.
Very true.
As long as you have a structure, that's storytelling. Now there's the publishing aspect. The publishing aspect is page signatures and where to make things come out at the right point where you could collect it in any number of formats depending on what the economic model might develop in the future. So
yeah,
those are the things that you want to think about, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, we definitely we break it down into 12 pages because 2 multiples of 12 page signatures. Your most economical page signature is still 8. Irrespective.
I kind of wish I had it in my hand, Steve, so that I could go, yeah, man, yeah.
yeah.
Soon, brother, soon.
Well, it's going to be a bit longer for me because it's got to come to the UK, hasn't it? So
just go up the street and knock on Dan Marshall's door.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, motherfucker,
Vestige.
Let me borrow that fucking proof copy.
Let me tell you about the comics fan that 3D Robin is. 3D Robin is the only person who I have offered a fully rendered, completely done PDF of the book.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
There you go.
Damn, son.
Yeah. I don't want it. I want the fucking book.
Yeah, that's my boy. Yeah.
I mean, as much as I love a good sneak peek, I still
Nope.
I still like that. I want that print copy in my hand so I can feel it and I can smell it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I've read, I was the first one, and I don't think I've actually said this live on air before, but I was the first one to get to read the completed Dusty Tortillas book from Brendan Kemp and his brother Steve. He sent me the PDF to read basically for approval. And I hate PDFs, but I love that fucking book. And I just can't wait to get it in my fucking hands so I can rub it in the faces of everybody who didn't fucking back that book because it was so damn good. It's such a good, fun, exciting Western story that we just don't get in comics anymore.
I got a joke that I want to make, but I'm not going to do it on the air.
Oh, come on. Why not?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to talk about hostages and shit. I'm not going to do it.
The endearing cowboy image in my mind is when I was, my dad took me to Belgium when I was about 8. We went into this comic book, and right about my head height was Lucky Luke. I don't know whether you guys know. Lucky Luke is like a Belgian character, French character, cowboy, and but this particular one was Lucky Luke de Sex, and so as an 8-year-old, it was quite shocking to see all this sort of comics. What are comics? They're all just sex books.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I thought you said die. Like I thought you meant like disex.
No, do as in I think DU the Lucky Luke the Sex.
Wow.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of top shelf. Any other country, well, especially in the UK, that'd be top shelf material. Out of the reach of kiddies' hands. But this was right there in Belgium. They must be very liberal.
No, that one's outside my grasp, but
But that was what I thought. That was what I thought about cowboy comic books for ages. Was just sex books.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, your frame of, it's always interesting because your frame of reference is just ever so slightly or by an ocean skewed from mine because, it's like,
yeah, we're never that far.
I was talking to you about heavy metal when you're like, oh, yeah, Metal Hurlant then. And I was like, what? And then,
yeah, Metal Hurlant.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a different aspect between American comics and British comics.
Yeah,
and
don't
honestly,
get me
that's
wrong. We had them. We had the there was Daredevils and your Marvels and Spider-Mens and X-Men's and
yeah, but
Thors
you had your own separate from that too.
I was very much a 2000 AD kid.
That's what I mean. Like,
well, see, that's
2000
that's
AD
what we're
and
removed
shit.
from, Robin. That's what I think maybe, and maybe I don't know. Maybe I was just hell. I don't even remember what part of the country I was living in at that point. But as a statesider, we're removed from that. Really, I mean, we know about it, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
what
not.
I
It
loved
wasn't.
about
It's
it
not
was
commonplace.
what I loved about it was that there was 5 or 6 different stories in each prog.
Well, I
They
mean,
used to call them.
Yeah,
Prog.
Yeah, it was programmed. The idea was that Tharg the Mighty was the creator of 2000 AD. He was an alien who wanted to give out thrill power to the humans. And thrill power
that's amazing to me.
Thrill power was just him being ecstatically excited about the latest Dread or a Rogue Trooper or thousands of other really great
that's fucking amazing. That's why I think you Brits have the fucking leg up on us on nearly fucking everything. Because I don't know what it is, but you guys have that crazy imagination.
I almost wish I'd have been like the son of a steelworker in Sheffield or something. Because then I would have got the first wave of Alan Moore and Grant Morrison. And
exactly, dude.
I was reading Alan Moore's Future Shocks, which were like they were kind of like weird tales and things like that, and it'd just be little one-offs with him spinning crazy tales,
Yeah, we delve into
like
that
Gibbons
after
drawing
the fact.
it,
We delve into that after the fact, just like Led Zeppelin leads me back to Muddy Waters. We delve into that after the fact, but we didn't get it first wave. I mean, fuck, it'd be a slight, but only an ever so slight statement that I barely knew who the fuck Alan Moore was until Watchmen. Same with Grant Morrison really made an impact on me doing that X-Man stuff that he did.
One of my favorite writers at the time was a guy called Pat Mills, who did he did a book called Charlie's War, which was in slightly earlier than 2000 AD. There was some books called Conflict and Warlord and things like that, and they were kind of all World War II stories about brave Tommies taking out bunkers full of Nazis and things like that, but gritty stuff. And this book he wrote, Charlie's War, was about the First World War, and it was one of the first comics to really truly represent the horrors of war. And it was a fantastic read, all about the camaraderie of him and his buddies, and they're all getting shot, and it's really well drawn. And he went on to write Roadbusters and ABC Warriors and
all that
some cool stuff.
Kev
shit. O'Neill. I really like Kev O'Neill.
Yeah, all of that. I'll freely admit that I'm not familiar with that, but now I want to find out about it.
Right, I'm in the same boat.
Well, I'll reluctantly admit, you might be in the same boat here, but reluctantly admit that, Judge Dredd, that's a movie with Sly Stallone.
You see, you guys have missed out on like the Cursed Earth and things like that. I mean, that was an amazing 20. It ran for 20 weeks or something like that. I was
a comics book fan, but that wasn't part of the consciousness of being a U.S. comics book fan.
There's some amazing Dredd stories where he's just patrolling the streets and they use this spray called buoying for them to sort of jump off the mega city blocks. So they're leaping like 2 miles and they spray themselves with this plastine buoying and they just bounce like little rubber balls. And that's, of course, illegal, like everything is in mega city. So there's loads of great stuff like that. There's an amazing Bolland story called The Jigsaw Man, and Dredd chases this guy's running from the law, obviously, and he's infected by this alien, and he starts to lose pieces of his body in like a jigsaw style. And Dredd's trying to catch up with him to get the name of this of an informant or something like that. And as he travels through this alien city, he starts losing pieces of himself. There's just some crazy stuff I remember.
Yeah, so good. And we didn't have any of that. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm in the 50% imbecile category. But
well, count me in with that, I guess.
It was never put in front of us.
Yeah, exactly.
We had to circle back around to it. You know, I've read the Ballard stuff, but I had to circle back around to it.
See, and that's what I'm hoping. Actually, I'm hoping that's what becomes of CG Jumpstart. I hope that someday, you know, people are like, oh man, this story by Joe Ball called Death, it only ran in CG Jumpstart, but my fuck was it good, you know?
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. Yeah, it'd be nice.
Dushitu, he's from your side of the pond. He says, we rode the 10th wave of worldwide pop culture here in Poland.
10th wave. So he was paddling out for a while. Is that what he's saying?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, man. Yeah. Well, we always had blue jeans, but we didn't have Ballard until we circled back around.
But like anything, I mean, 2008 got crap, in my opinion. It just got, you know, it was good. It had its heyday from 79 to 85, I think, and then it just kind of got a bit too big for its boots. But we had, before 2000 AD, there was stuff like Beano and Dandy, which was and Topper and things like that, which were serialized. You know, you'd have 5 or 6 different stories in, and so we were very used to that format of like little collections of different characters. So each story would only be 4 to 6 pages long, but you'd want to buy the next issue for your favorite story.
Well, that's what we're trying to do with Jumpstart. And by the way, that is another aspiration that we have for Jumpstart.
Yeah, I certainly hope so.
Well, we want to get too big for our boots.
That'd be great. That'd be super great.
So when I mean, I know there's a lot of kind of things have been shifted, but I mean, say middle of next month, Steve, do you think there might be a page up
for
Jumpstart, a Jumpstart page?
It's not quite. It's 8:30.
3D adjusting for time. I hope you mean the middle of this month.
Yeah.
But yeah, where we are, the middle of next month. We had hoped
2 weeks.
Definitely, well, it's done, man, and we wanted to launch it April Fool's Day because that'd be funny. But another holiday that's been very, very kind to us in the past is
420.
Recognized, if not internationally recognized, 420. So,
420.
Well,
get row in that fucking bathtub.
Well, that's.
I at least want a fucking mailing list by next week. God damn it.
Again, there's liable to be a hostage situation outside of certain mailing companies, shipping companies.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I got nothing better to do. I'm on lockdown. You tell me where I gotta go, and I will get some fucking books in gas hands.
That discussion has taken place.
I did say to Steve, I'm sure there's someone with a balaclava.
It's about the same distance from Adam. Yeah,
wants the chip in.
Well, it's just a matter of
I even got a red van.
This whole virus thing has thrown a hell of a. I mean, I don't want to make excuses, but. The shit's in Ohio, just not at Gat's house. So,
and that's what I think is fucking bullshit. Like it's in his state. Like
it's 15 minutes away. I ain't trying to dox a brother, but unless you got a tracking number, I guess you don't. But I know what the tracking number is. It's sitting there. It's frustrating.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. Hopefully, it gets sorted soon.
Well, it will get sorted. I mean, there's going to be a few hiccups, a few potholes in this road around the whole,
Well, and I feel like
we've got the swine flu now. We've got the mad cow.
Yeah,
lay low.
that's the thing. Like there's plenty of hiccups to be had in the crowdfunding road. No one anticipates
Pandemic.
a pandemic
Yeah.
to actually come
That's what
around.
we were thinking about a year ago. We were like thinking, okay, let's get together this kick-ass graphic novel, and then let's maybe do a magazine, and then let's try to deliver the first and launch the second in the middle of a pandemic.
Right, yeah.
Fucking A, good plan. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
ComicsGate's going to endure, I'm sure.
See, I think that's the main point. I did a video of that just this afternoon. DC and Marvel have completely closed up shop now. You know, the tweets went out late last week, pencils down, don't do anything. Well, the official statements have now come out from both Marvel and DC. They are not shipping, they're not creating any new books, digital books or print, not happening. CG is the only source of new material right now. The only source.
I think the thing about ComicsGate is this. Yeah.
Come on, what you got? This is closing statement. This is closing statement signed. Come on.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and give the background. Liam Gray, he's my boy. He had DM'd me about, well, yeah, man, you know, it's tough sledding. And, you know, I replied with some encouraging words, of course. But the main thing to me is that ComicsGate is, you know, I mean, any endeavor, anything worth accomplishing in life is akin to Sisyphus pushing a rock up a hill, you know? It's always going to be a struggle. You get up the next day and you struggle again. The thing about ComicsGate is that Sisyphus is one man, one demigod, one creature, but we're all in this together. We can push this rock together. You know, that's the
can't we get some sort of lever, sort of, you know, together to sort of take the, you know, stop it rolling down, and then we could just sort of leave it there and go and have a kip and come back.
Well, there's enough.
Were you talking about like a stopgap to like stop the rock from rolling backwards down the hill?
Yeah, never. You know, why is he constantly pushing it up the hill? What's wrong with the man?
Well, it's not a bad analogy. I like it. I'm gonna extrapolate on the analogy. So here you've got ComicsGate, and you've got, I mean, dude, War Campaign. War Campaign never sleeps, right? Because it is worldwide. You've got ComicsGate. Yeah. It is worldwide. You know, sometimes it's like 3 a.m. and I know I can't even fucking talk to a guy with a cool accent in the form of 3D Robin, but I can get Sinestro Smirk on the line. You know, it's like there's always somebody.
Hey, you guys have got
you push the rock up the hill, and then once in a while you got to take a nap. But you've got a brother half a continent or 3 continents away.
I definitely think, yeah, it's global. ComicsGate is global. I think we're all better off together. Do you know what I mean? And
everybody put a shoulder into
about this DC Marvel thing. I've been CG only for the past year and a half. So I couldn't give a shit about DC and Marvel. They just don't interest me. I think Safe Space and Snowflake were just, you know, they're the crowning turd, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's bad
shit sandwich. Why, you know, just go to another restaurant.
It's bad enough that Bendis, a guy that I like Powers, man. I think that's some pretty good deconstruction of shit. It's also 20 years old. You know, it's bad enough that he comes in and wants to, you know, I guess there's something in Legion of Superheroes where Clark Kent's not actually the Superman.
I don't even want to hear about that shit right now.
Fuck off with that shit.
So I really don't.
It's bad enough that you got a guy that maybe has even been writing comic books for 20 years coming in and doing shit like that. And then you turn around and you have all this fucking Safe Space fucking fuck.
They're all woke as fuck, man.
Dude, get out.
Sipping on the far left extremist Kool-Aid, you know, so they're all writing the same shit.
It's bad. It's bad. I've been a Democrat my entire life. I don't even like Democrats anymore. But anyhow, closing thoughts from you, Robin.
There's a hell of a lot of hard work went into Jumpstart, and I pray that it comes out.
Oh, I think it will come out. That I will almost
That's
tell
all
you
I'll
without
say.
a doubt.
Well, you never know. You never know, Adam. We're pessimists over here. Well, I am. We're not optimists like you guys. We can't. We're not afforded the luxury of optimism in Britain.
Is that what Brexit got you? No more optimism.
Brexit. I don't know what's going on. You have to. Do you want some animation doing? That's my angle.
All right. we ain't into fucking politics here. We're just into comic book. Goddamn it.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. I don't know what's going on.
Triple R says interchangeable genitals for safe space and Snowflake. Yep. Just unplug and replug. Vault actually, that's a nice point there. Bendis is a guy that fell out of love with comics, if he ever loved comics. No, I think he definitely loved comics at one point, but he definitely.
I mean, fuck. I don't want to get I can't stand what he's fucking doing at DC and fucking the shit he was doing at the tail end of Marvel. What I was reading was bullshit. But Powers was good. The stuff he did with Ultimate Spider-Man in the beginning was good. It was good. I think that dude, the guy that did Ultimate Spider-Man in the beginning, loved comics. I don't know what the fuck's happened to the dude, but
no, I think he ran out of ideas, and I can testify to that with the amount of decompressed fucking issues that he wrote, where he would write a 6-issue trade paperback that could have been told in 2 issues.
You go back. That's where
you've run out of ideas. When you're just literally regurgitating the same thing over and over again in the same 6 to 12 issues, you lost it, man.
Dude, and I mean, Vault, I told you the other day, I gave you some marching orders on a certain book that you needed to read. That fucking, if you go back and read Goldfish, that was a fucking good independent comic book that Bendis did. I mean, it was 50 fucking years ago in comics time. But
I was gonna say Goldfish. I need to write that one down.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's crime noir. It's like pre-Powers. It's super early in his
by
career.
Bendis.
I forget who published it. But it was, some 5th tier. I forget, dude. It's been a minute.
Man, this is the best fucking books, though, man. Those fucking 5th tier nobodies.
It's a good book, man. That guy liked comics, and then he turned into the guy that could write Ultimate Spider-Man, and that was really good. I mean, forever? No. When they started changing things, but yeah, it was a retelling of the whole Kirby fucking Ditko Stan Lee thing. It was good. That guy did love comics, but he sucks now. So I don't know what happens, dude.
Yeah, he went from a good comic writer to a fucking SJW. Like even his whole life is fucking SJW at this point. If you actually look at the guy, it's fucking waste of space at this point. Thank you guys for coming on tonight and hanging out. Steve, 3D, love you guys.
Cheers,
always
man.
good chatting with you guys. To the chat, thank you guys for hanging out with us this evening. I know there's a lot of other shit going on, but I do appreciate you coming here and hanging out. Triple R, Do Shit Too, Volt Cobalt, fucking Z-Rust, all you guys who've been here. I know who you are. I know you guys show up all the time. I love you all. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Hopefully, we will have a goddamn mailing list to at least direct you guys to for CG Jumpstart. But if not, we'll still try to entertain your asses either way, huh?
Hell, brother.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Hail, brothers.
Keeping us going, brother.
Fuck yeah. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Cheers.